I want to welcome everybody to today's webinar. I'm your host. My name's Hoss Pratt. What I want to do today is I'm going to give you some different strategies to be able to get the most out of LionDesk. And so if you have LionDesk or if you don't, no worries. I'm going to give you a lot of information. I'm just going to go ahead and get going because I do have a lot to cover. I'm going to show you 5 essential strategies to turn LionDesk into a lead converting machine. Over the last decade, this is what I've done. I've helped real estate agents go out there, dominate their markets. Really, it doesn't matter how long they've been in the business. It doesn't matter how old or young they are or what company they're with. And I've done this by helping them build a machine and building systems. And that's why people come to me, is they want more freedom in their real estate business. They want to be able to, not have to depend on other people for success. They want to own their success. And that's why I'm so excited for you to be here today, because I know that this is a paradigm shift that a lot of people go through. And when they do, their business explodes. And when they get it, I know when I got this, when I understood what I'm going to share with you today of how you build a machine that you can use to leverage in your business that will create more freedom, is going to change everything. But we've got to depend on some tools. And that's what I'm going to give you today. Over the last decade, I've helped thousands of agents do this. I've helped them build out their systems, helped them with their listings, putting signs in the ground. I wrote a book called Listing Boss, created Listing Boss Academy. And that's what my passion is helping agents achieve freedom. And here's what I've learned in doing this and helping, is I'm going to help you today, is either you run the day or the day runs you. And now what does that mean? Well, what it means is we got to maximize our time, and we got to be able to build the machine that tells us what to do. And that's what top agents are doing out there in today's market. I know, let me ask you all this real quick. Are you in your marketplace experiencing low inventory? I mean, in your marketplace, are you experiencing low inventory? What is the market like out there right now in your marketplace? And let's just see. I mean, I'm curious because I talk to agents every day in all different parts of the world. And, everybody says the same, of course, yes. There's no inventory. And then here's the other question I would ask, is now is also the greatest time to sell homes? Meaning, is right now the greatest time in the history of real estate to sell a house? The answer is yes. So we're finding ourselves in a market that there's low inventory everywhere, right? Unbelievably low, says Blake. Jody says, of course, more buyers than sellers. Here's what we have to do. We have to go create our own market in today's marketplace. If you're waiting for sellers to come to you, we're too late. Or if we're waiting for if a buyer's waiting for a property to hit the MLS, they waited too long. And that's the market that we're in today. And so here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. And this is the goal. For you to have a machine that you can devote nothing of your time to your highest leverage activities, your HLAs. Your HLAs are your high leverage activities. What are they? Well, these are the activities that are going to bring you the biggest results. So in real estate, I'll give the answer to you. Prospecting is number one. You've got to be a prospecting-based person. You got to prospect every day. Prospecting for new business is the engine to growing. It's the engine to everything. I know for me, I went from 0 to 30 listings in 30 days. All I ever did was list homes. And all I did every day, I would prospect every day from 9 to noon. 2 is presenting. You're on buyer appointments. You're on listing appointments. You're doing presentations like this. You're doing video. Anytime you're presenting, that's a good use of your time. And then lastly is building relationships. The building relationships part is important because we're in the relationship business. But the lead generation and the lead conversion is what's going to bring you about the most growth. And that's what I want to help you with, is build a machine that will help you prospect more consistently and frequently and more successfully, so you can present, so you can go on listing appointments, so you can go on buyer appointments, investor appointments. You should always be presenting, and then building relationships. Anytime you're doing that, it's a good use of your time. So the next strategy is automation. So in order for us to do this, we have to automate. So here's the thing, how we do this. We have to automate. And grab a pen and paper, write it out. I'll tell you what to write down. Automation is so important to our maximizing our time, because the 2 areas in real estate that are the most important are lead generation and lead conversion. Lead gen and lead conversion is how we grow your business. And we're going to build this machine and we're going to automate it because we have to remove the human. The human is you. The human is the agent. The human is me. We have to remove the human from the process. And this is an important shift because, if you're running your business and you're keeping up with yellow pads of paper and the automation is what's going to keep you consistent. And so LionDesk is going to be, it's the hub of operations. It's everything you need in one place to manage and facilitate these relationships, to engage contacts, to find the people that are interested. And so not only is this a great tool because it checks all of the dots on a CRM checklist to me. Now, and I know that there's a lot of different options out there as far as, CRMs, technology, and I get it. But here's the thing. In today's world, we need to be able to customize as much as we can. So we need to be able to build custom campaigns. We need to be able to email, not only in broadcast email, but also within a campaign. Text messaging is so important. Back, when I sold real estate, they didn't even have text messages back then, but they were just starting to come out. And in today's market, you want to leverage texting to get you on the phone with more people. Right? A simple text before a call goes a long way because it'll allow you to increase your spoke-to ratio. Next is contact tagging and segmenting. This is so important. I'm going to give you some tools too. And again, I will email this to you as well. But I'm going to give you some tools as far as what are the best tags and how do you segment leads. This is something that I've helped many people through and really sifted and sorted through the need tos and the ones we don't need. Really the ones that are most important. An action to-do list. We need to build this thing to where it tells you what to do. If you're calling your sellers every week or your buyers every week, it tells you, hey, it's Tuesday. It's where we call our sellers. It's something that will hold you accountable. And if you build your CRM right within LionDesk, not only is it communicating to your database and your contacts and your leads, but it's also communicating to you. Next is systems. We must systemize everything. So the real shift here is when you go from thinking like an agent, like a single agent, to thinking like a business owner. And I want to challenge you to start thinking like a business owner now. Put your business owner hat on. There's working in the business and working on the business. And what I learned for me is systems are what tell us what to do. Because you don't manage people, you manage systems to manage the people. And what does that mean? Well, it means we got to build the bridge that people can cross. We got to create the checklist. We got to create the process that people would follow. And once you do that, it's kind of like a doctor, right? When you go in for surgery, you go in there and the doctor is saying what? Scalpel, check. It's the same thing. It's a checklist that they follow. Every surgery is the same. I have a friend that's a pilot. He says that's the same thing. Everything's a checklist. I said, does it ever get redundant? He goes, it doesn't matter. It's a checklist because airlines, depend on that system to keep us safe. And that's the same thing with our business is we need to have a system. So not only we know what to do, but we're able to create more free space to bring more value to our clients. And they will experience the value of a systems-based business. But here's what I will challenge you to do is to not overthink this because most agents fail because they don't know where to begin. They're not confident in their follow-up. They become overwhelmed, which is a big problem because it leads to inaction. At the end of the day, the most important thing is action. Just take an action. Imperfect action, not the getting ready to get ready, the taking the action, meaning putting one step in front of the next, because here's what happens when you do that. You'll start to experience the systems, and you'll start to learn it and grow in it. But I want you to keep it big and easy. It's a big and easy, meaning big results and easy to implement. Nothing complicated, because that's why most agents fail is they complicate it. This is the reason that less than 10% of agents make more than 3 contacts. You know why? The industry has a revolving door. I know because I've worked with agents every day. It's because they don't prospect. They don't lead generate. The well dries up and they don't know where to go get it. And they're not skilled enough to go get it because they're not consistent in it. skills are an important part in following a system, because when you're doing what you're told, when the system's telling you what to do, what happens is you're going to start getting more skilled. And as those skills build, that's where freedom exists, where you have a system that is not only you're disciplined in following, but also you're getting better at executing. So the bottom line is you got to make more contacts. You need to make more contacts. You got to generate more leads out of thin air, meaning it doesn't always mean, hey, we got to go generate our own. There's a lot of places for great sources of leads. So, but here's what I want you to think, though, is you want to think of these are the tools for success. Number one is your CRM. You have to have a CRM because it's what tells you what to do every day. It's the beast. It's the hub of operations. And then we need leads and contacts in that CRM on campaigns. Every lead, every contact is on some sort of campaigns. And then the easy way to explain it is feed the beast. The beast is your CRM that we build that exists. And then, feeding it is what? With contacts. And those contacts are on campaigns. And I want to give you some thinking here, some places, 21 target markets. Who are these folks? Sphere of influence. Got to be on, our sphere has to be on campaigns. We have to be leveraging LionDesk and automation in building those relationships. We need our seller leads, all of our seller leads, our buyer leads, home builders, open houses, our neighborhood farm areas, our circle farming, internet leads, veterans, old seller leads, old buyer leads, divorce attorneys, vendors, orphan buyers, past clients, downsizing, for sale by owners, expired listings, probate listings, active seller, active buyer. These are niches. And what you have to do is you have to pick out of the niches, which ones are you going to target and which ones are we going to market to? Because we can dominate any of these niches. See, that's the key to growing is we focus on a niche. We put that niche on a campaign. That campaign establishes the credibility, the authority, brings them value. We're consistent in following the campaign. Relationship is built. Seller says yes. I took a listing a day from following exactly what I'm telling you in a market where I didn't know anybody. And that's what's exciting about this is it doesn't matter. All that matters is if you take imperfect action. The imperfect action, that's where people get a little uncomfortable. But I want to tell you, give it 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you're going to be entirely different on the other side. You're going to be more confident. You're going to be more skilled. You're going to have more momentum. You're just going to be having a lot more fun. So just trust me on this process. I need you to do some things, though. You've got to gather your contacts if you haven't already. I know this is something that a lot of people, gets thrown around, but I'm putting it there because nobody ever does it. I mean, it blows my mind how many agents don't have their database gathered in a place. So I want you to go do that. Like, do that now if you don't already. Go to your database. Go to your social media. Pull all the contacts that you have that you possibly can of people that we want to do business with. From maybe they're on Excel files. Maybe they're in your email list. Who knows? I want you to gather all of them. Put them on one spreadsheet even if you want. You can put them on there and organize these contacts. It'll be worth the time because what you're going to get and how you're going to communicate to them is going to turn into money. That list contains money like a cactus contains water. And that's what I want you to know is that list and all of that database is everything. And so we want to treat it as such. So you want to gather your contacts. And you want to find out who are the people who are the ones that already know you, who are the ones that like you, and who are the ones that love you. I'll tell you this. I remember I heard this one time, and it was an interesting piece of information. 80% of your referrals come from 20% of your database. So there's 20% out of that database that you gather that are going to bring you 80% of the referrals. And then out of all of that, 100% of those referrals, 20% of those people of the top 20 are going to bring you 80. What does that mean? You're going to have a few people that are going to give you several referrals. You're going to have a handful that's going to give you a few. You're going to have many that give you none. And so you want to find out who those ambassadors are in your database, and we want to treat them as such. We want to be able to build that relationship with them because that's big and easy, is building the relationships with the people that serve us and that we can serve best. So think about who that is. Now, You may be like me where you didn't have a database. Like I didn't have a database when I moved to Texas from Missouri. I didn't know a single soul. I moved here and I didn't go to college. I barely made it through high school, and I got into real estate. And you know what happened was I went broke my first 6 months because I was trying to go out there and just build a database. It was a slow approach because I didn't have a database. You know, some of you may not have a database. You may be new where you are. Some of you've been, you have a database, but you're scared to go after it, or you're not confident in maybe your services, so you're not confident in engaging them. Some of you have a gold mine in front of you that you're doing nothing with. And I understand that. Now, here's the case for everybody. Everybody needs to be gathering their database, and they need to treat it like gold. If you're in the position where you don't have a database, then you need to go after niches. Go after the people who want to sell. Go after the people that are already out there, the big and easy. Like for me, I went after for sale by owners. My for sale by owners, when I started going after them, I put them on a campaign that was a 30-day campaign that consisted of calling them, that consisted of mailing them. And I was consistent where every other day I would just be in contact with them. And every day I would take a listing. And every day by the time that hopper was full, my phone would just ring. And that's what's going to happen to you if you're not there yet. When this hopper is full and you have leads and niches on campaigns and people that know you on campaigns, what happens is they turn into money. And that's what we want. We want that to happen fast, but we got to do it. But that's what's on the other side of this for you, is having certainty in your business, having a pipeline of fat, juicy seller leads that want to list their home when they're ready, and people that are waiting to give referrals for people like yourself because you brought them the most value. And so we got to get in the game. And how do we do this? Is we got to build these campaigns. We got to have campaigns. We have to have leads on campaigns. Every lead is a seed. We have to nurture it, cultivate it. We got to fertilize that seed, man. And if we invest the time, it's going to grow. You know, I have 3 daughters. I was in the backyard the other day. We were all out there planting a garden. I was teaching them because I grew up on a farm, and I was teaching them gardening. And I was like, kids, this is like life. You just plant seeds, and all of a sudden we're going to water this and fertilize it, and you're going to see a little green leaf come up, and they're already coming up. And I look at life that way. I look at everything that way. You reap what you sow. If you invest time in your high leverage activities, you're going to be rewarded. You know, if you do the right things, you're going to be rewarded with the right things. So we got to have these campaigns with these leads on them, and doing so frequently. And I'm going to give you some campaign handouts as well that will be in the resources I send you. But I want you to understand these campaigns and how they work. This is why I like LionDesk, is because we can customize the entire campaign. And that's really important. Like I need to be able to text within a campaign. I need to be able to, if I can send a voice broadcast within a campaign, that'd be helpful. I need to be able to email. I need it to be able to tell me when I need to send a letter, or and this is, most CRMs don't do that. And a lot of times I'll tell you this with people, including myself, I've had many CRMs, but I've had, the best CRM is the one that you use. It truly is. And it's like a marriage. It's a relationship. And it's, there's good days and bad days with any CRM. Every CRM on the planet Earth is like this. And you just learn it, and you learn how it works and how you work with it. But treat it like a relationship, and you'll have more success. Because, especially in LionDesk's case, you have a whole entire team of amazing people that are going to work every day and improving that process, every process for everybody on a mass scale. And as long as you can find your way to maneuver within it, you're going to be way more successful. The answer is not in another CRM. And this is coming from somebody that I've worked with all of them. The answer is in committing to the one that you have. And there's not a better CRM out there to commit to than LionDesk, because it's going to grow with you. It's not going to be a lid where you can't do something because they're not growing. They're going to be growing. And I know the leadership teams, I know the developers, I know I've met them. I see them out there. I see their customers. They serve them. And that's the most important part when you're picking a CRM, is the team you're aligning with, and then the fact that you can commit to the relationship. And in doing that, here's what we do. Magic happens, because then we trust it. Then we have faith in ourselves. Then we're able to become more committed. And this is an important part, because if we mess this part up, we don't get freedom. We don't. Like, I know when I log into my CRM, man, sometimes that thing's going to be, I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of action. I send over 1 million emails a month. I mean, there's a lot of inflow and outflow in that thing. And it's more than I could ever imagine. So, and that's really where you want this to be, is you want it more than you could ever imagine. But we've got to use different and several forms of communication. So what does it mean? You know, one of the big and easy ways to leverage LionDesk is leveraging their texting within campaigns, and then their calls. So like being able to I'm not even talking about the power dialer. I'm talking about a call, saying, hey, call this person on day one, send a text on day one, day two, send this email. And what you do is once you have that and you're leveraging several forms of communication, this is where it gets good, because it tells you what to do. It forces you to do the work. And that's really what we want, is we want your system telling you what to do every day, where you don't even know unless it tells you. And to do that, we got to build the chessboard. And here's what a chessboard is. And again, I'm going to share these resources with you. But you need the essential seller lead campaigns and the essential buyer lead campaigns. So what does that look like? Well, there's essential campaigns. Like, the goal of everything is to get them on the phone, right? The whole purpose of the CRM is to create phone calls, is to get people on the phone, either to get them to call me or for me to call them. And it's big and easy, because I've been in touch with them. So we need a chessboard. Like, there'll be times when you're talking to somebody and they'll say, hey, call me next week. I'm going to make a decision then. Well, you'll learn that whatever time frame they give you, cut it in half. That's when they list. So if he says next week, I know I need to call him. I know I need to call him by in 3 days, because I know he's going to list it probably within that time. So, and that's just, you'll find that the more sellers you talk to, just cut their time frame in half. That's when they list. So I need a campaign to put him on that is a seller 3-day action plan. That's nothing but calls. It just tells me to call that seller every day for 3 days. He may say, hey, you'll call me in a few days. I'm not going to set a reminder. I'm going to put him on a campaign that tells me to call the seller every day. You see, that's the difference. If you set a reminder and you just say, hey, remind me to call him tomorrow, well, what happens if you call him and you don't? You just keep setting the reminders. Just put him on a daily call action plan and call it a day, and just call him every single day that he doesn't call you. Same thing. So you have, 1 day, a 3-day, a 7-day, right? Which is, hey, call me in a few weeks. What am I going to do? I'm going to put him on the seller lead 7-day campaign, because I'm going to call him in 7 days. And even bi-weekly, where it's every 2 weeks, and then we'll have one that's every month and every 2 months. And once that's built, you'll have a place to put people. And when you're talking to them, you'll be able to move them in places. You know what, Hoss, my motivation changed. Man, I was going to list it next week. Now I'm going to be listing in a few months. Boom, I'm going to put them on the bi-weekly campaign. So every 2 weeks, that seller's in front of me. And you see, when this happens and you have that clarity and awareness of where, I guess, intention of where the leads are, that's what allows the numbers to start to happen. But you have to have that checkerboard, and I'll make sure that you have this. It'll be in the slide deck under the essential seller lead campaigns and the essential buyer lead campaigns. And I'm also going to give you some other campaigns here as well, that, like a neighborhood farm push, that is a good campaign to build out, that you can go in and you can, create a text and call campaign that would just simply create interest in a neighborhood. If I have a home that I just recently listed or sold, or maybe it's just my own neighborhood, maybe I would send a campaign that met with the message, would you be interested in selling your home in the next 30 to 90 days? You see, a lot of times where you go wrong, in following up with leads is, we try to bite off too much. All we're trying to do is create interest. All we're trying to do is get a yay or a nay out of them. That's it. We're not trying to list their home. We're not trying to help them buy a home. We're simply trying to create interest. And if they don't have interest, to find the people they know that do. And that's what we have to do in today's low inventory market, is we have to create more opportunities. We have to ask the Susie, well, Susie, who do you know that wants to sell a home? Well, nobody. I mean, I don't know. I've been busy lately. Well, Susie, let me tell you this. It's the greatest time in the history of real estate to sell a house. If you could sell your property, for way more money today than you ever could, would you be open to hearing what I could help you get? Well, no, I'm not selling. Well, who do you know, Susie, that wants to extract maximum equity out of their home right now? You see, these are the conversations you have to have with sellers, buyers, leads, referrals, database. Is if they're not interested, we're going to find out who is, right? And this is important because we only get so many at bats, right? Especially on the face-to-face, on the presentations, we don't get so many, right? We don't have the luxury of messing up. We got to get it. We got to prospect for new leads. We got to have the machine to put us on more appointments. We have to have the campaigns that are telling us what to do every single day. And that right there is what's going to trigger the action. That's going to lead to the skills. It's going to lead to the difference. And when you do this, here's what happens. You're going to have a lot of conversations. And I want to talk about marketing because that's the next strategy that I want to dive into, because marketing goes hand in hand with all of this. I want you to think of yourself as a marketer from now on. Not only as a business owner, right? But you're a marketer who happens to be in real estate. You're in the getting the phone to ring business, right? That's what you do. You're in the business of creating interest and providing solutions to problems. So who's interested? What's the problem? Here's the solution. That's what you do. And this happens next. Where, when. This cadence is what you got to speed up, right? You got to speed up the cadence of having the conversations. Not talking to one person about selling, talking to 10, then going to 50 a day, then going to as many as it takes, right? But I want you to think about your output, doing more output. And in order to get more output, we got to have the campaigns and the system forcing us to do it, because we already know we're not going to do it unless we're forced to do it. And we also got to know that we are a marketer who happens to be in real estate. We're going to put our marketing hats on right now. And we're going to ask this question. I'm going to ask you this question. It's the ultimate question. Why should a prospect use you instead of your competitor? You have leads on campaigns. You're targeting, divorce attorneys. You're targeting for sale by owners, past clients, orphan buyers. You're going after your database, your kids' private school parents. You're going after your church. You're going after all these people, and you're putting out this message of output. Megaphone. Boom. What is this message? What's the message that they're receiving on the other end of the line when you're talking to that for sale by owner that's contemplating on listing the home? What are the words that are coming out of your mouth? Are they words of a marketer? Are they the words of somebody that's going to help that seller get results? Because this is really important, because we got to build all that, but then we got to deliver all that. But this is where it gets good, because when you start thinking of yourself as a marketer, things start happening quick. Meaning, you'll go into solution mode. You'll go into problem solving mode. You'll go into asking questions mode. So here's what I will tell you. And I would never tell you to do something I didn't do. Okay. I don't know. I've never coached anybody who's ever made more phone calls than me. I've never coached anybody who's knocked more doors than me. I've made hundreds of thousands of phone calls. I've knocked hundreds of thousands of doors. I've done thousands of seminars. Like that's what I do. The cadence, right? The next call. And here's what I will tell you. People don't care about me. They only care about themselves, their time, and their money. Themselves, their time, and their money is the only thing they care about. And so if we go to a call thinking that they care about us, then we're not going to get results. If we go to an appointment thinking they care about us, then we're not going to get results. What does that mean? Well, we'll show up saying things like, I've been in business 37 years. I'm with this swanky real estate company, and I. And you see that they don't care about you. They care about themselves. So what we got to do is we have to have campaigns and messaging that is solution-based, meaning, I'll give you an example. I remember when I was young, I moved to Texas. I didn't know anybody. I was calling sellers like expireds and FSBOs. I kept getting this question like, well, what are you going to do to market my home? What are you going to do for that commission? How are you going to market this home? I would always get this marketing question. And at the beginning, I would answer it like, well, I'm going to put it in the MLS. I'm going to do a broker tour. I'm going to do professional photos. And like, you could just see and hear the white of their eyes just like gazing over, right? They're like, oh, poor. And just that's another realtor answer, isn't it? A difference would be a marketer answer would be, well, Mr. Seller, I have an 89-point marketing plan that works magic and selling properties just like yours fast for most amount of money. And I'm confident that I can get this property sold for maximum dollar today, leveraging that marketing plan. So Mr. Seller, boom, sign here, right? Why do I do that? Because that's a solution. The 89-point marketing plan is the solution to the pain, right? Is a solution to the problem. And once you start going there, that's where you start getting conversion. And that's what I want to help you with, this conversion. I want to give you a couple nuggets. So here's the rules of conversion. You have a 5-minute rule on every lead that comes in. So every sign call, every email, everything needs to be as set up as, and if you can integrate it with LionDesk where it's automatic, even better. But because there's a 5-minute rule. Everybody has the attention span of a flea right now, not right now, like in this day and age. I mean, ever since our cell phones came up, I mean, we are just conditioned to be what? Scrolling through the next thing. And so this 5-minute rule is everything. If you're buying leads, by the way, and you're not following up with those leads within 5 minutes, you need to call that and cancel right now and like tell them that, you're not doing your job because you're wasting your money. You really are. Like that first 5 minutes is everything. So we need a strong campaign in that first 5 minutes that converts them, a hot lead blast campaign that consists of multiple approaches of contact, right? Not just a phone call, not just an email, not just a text, but the first 5 minutes are everything. You want to inject authority. We want these prospects, these leads, your database to see you as the real estate authority, that they're referring you. We want them to enthusiastically refer you. And the only way that happens if you're the authority, you position yourself as the authority, you talk like the authority, you make yourself the authority, and that's an important mindset to marketing and output and getting it out there is coming from a place of authority, which is what? Confidence, which is what? Repetition, which is what? Leads on campaigns, which is what? LionDesk, which is what? Taking action. All of this stuff connects. And all of this requires everything. All of it is important. And you got to have a buy or die mindset, especially today's market. There's so much urgency. It's the greatest time in the history of real estate to sell a house. And it truly is. And listen, we got to be able to enthusiastically communicate that message to potential sellers. I believe that this is a transformational market right now. It is not a transactional market. It's transformational, meaning people that are making moves are making transformational moves. They're downsizing. They're moving across the country. I mean, I live in Texas. I see it every day. Transformation. I mean, people coming here from everywhere, moving. I mean, somebody had to sell their house where they came from. But you see, you got to go find those people before anybody else. And that's the market you want to create for yourself today, is to go uncover, like peeling away an onion is the next layer, in finding the gold in their hills in the greatest market in the history of real estate, and also come from a place of attraction. I believe that if you come at it by chasing people versus attracting people, that's an important mindset, because attracting is way more fun than chasing. And it all comes down to the mindset. And also, I'm going to give you some daily success rituals. Here's what I want you to do. Wake up earlier before your competition, right? As we say, the first one to arrive, the last one to leave. That was always me. I was the first one there, last one to leave. It was like motivation to me. I was always the first one to the phone. I was always the last one to leave. By now, I'm married with kids, so I wouldn't be the last one to leave in the sense of the day, but I would structure as it is my day to maximize every single thing I'm possibly doing. And the only way I can maximize real estate is by leveraging high leverage activities, right? Which is what? Prospecting, presenting, building relationships. Master your scripts. Here's the thing. You're going to get a lot better at your scripts if you're having conversations. And when you're having these conversations, it's important to keep your confidence up and know that that you will get better. You want to fight through the resistance. So many people give up before they rise up. They give up because they feel like they're embarrassing themselves, or they're losing their reputation. And let me tell you something. Nobody you're calling knows you. Nobody that you're calling is going to know you after you hang up the phone. They're not going to remember you tomorrow. I mean, think about it. Nobody's going to know you. So don't think of it in the sense of ego thinking. Think of it in sense of serve thinking. We're serving them, and we're looking for people to serve. Prospect a minimum of 3 hours every day. You want to be talking to both buyers and sellers a minimum of 3 hours a day. Honestly, the more the merrier, because that's the most important part of your job is prospecting. I mean, we're unemployed every 90 days in the real estate business. Prospecting is what keeps us in the game, right? Appointments set, appointments converted, leads to closings. And make a minimum of 20 contacts per day. I'm talking real estate with 20 people every day. Man, that's a lot, man. You know what's a lot is not doing that, right? Think of yourself as, I always look at it like this. All I had to do is prospect for 3 hours a day. It was really the only thing that felt like work to me in real estate. Everything else felt fun, right? Going on appointments, doing CMAs, which I didn't do, my assistant did, but all the stuff in real estate's more fun. Prospecting is the hardest thing for most realtors. So here's what I would ask is, if you can make $250,000 a year working 3 hours a day, would you do it? If you can make $500,000 a year working 3 hours a day, would you do it? Ask yourself that question. It'll change the relationship you have with prospecting. And that relationship might need to be changed for some, because we need to love prospecting because it's the lifeblood of our business. And get in the habit of doing this, writing 5 handwritten notes every day. 5 handwritten notes every single day. Get in the habit of it. You get in the habit of doing that, you're going to build relationships faster. I'll tell you, even me, I mean, I have saved every handwritten note ever sent to me. If you send me a handwritten note, I got it. I keep them in my shoe boxes. I have shoe boxes full of them. I've kept them for forever, my whole life. Every birthday card I've ever got, I save it too. And I save those things. Why? Because I don't know. I think they probably mean something to me. Somebody took the time to jot down their thoughts on a pen and address it to me. It's pretty special. And I would adapt that too. Just suspend your disbelief. Do it as a test. 30 days, 5 handwritten notes every day. Give yourself Saturday and Sunday off, Monday through Friday. At the end of the month, you got what? 20 handwritten notes out there. Let's just see what happens. Work on doing that and eliminating all of your distractions. I want to just first off, thank you all for being with me today. Thank you for LionDesk and putting this together. I will get you everything that you need as far as, the slide deck goes. It'll have everything I covered. I'm going to throw in a couple other additional resources as well. Even like the disposition code names. These are things like tagging and how to do that are things that I'm going to share with you. And so be on the lookout for that. If you're somebody that wants to just buy some speed and you're like, man, Hoss, I just want all the campaigns put in my system for me, then you can go to getthesystems.com and you can do that. And it's getthesystems with an S.com to get it. I'll give you all my campaigns, over 40 of them already pre-written and done. My team will even put those in your LionDesk account for you. And so you can go there. It's just one payment of $9.97, and I'm going to give you tons of other additional bonuses as well. It's a smart investment for those of you that want to buy speed. Go to getthesystems.com and take action there. With that, y'all, hey, did y'all like this today? Does this help you? Give us some feedback. Put it in the chat box. Let us know. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead, put it in the chat. We want to hear. All right, let's see. Great tips. Thank you. Thank you, Marnie. Great content. Thank you, Polly. Thank you, Wendy. Let's see. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Great information. Thank you, Virginia. Let me just check, make sure. I'm gonna do a quick recap as we're wrapping up here. Automation. You have to automate the business. The way to do that is to build a hub of operations. LionDesk is an amazing hub of operations to do that with. You couldn't find a better technology to marry than LionDesk, because it is a relationship like a marriage in every CRM, and it doesn't matter what it is. I find the relationships quite well, actually. I love LionDesk. Next is campaigns. You got to have campaigns rolling. Leads on campaigns are so important, and more than you think. Being able to keep these people having on multiple communications, having those campaigns even telling you what to do in certain cases. And also the essential seller lead campaigns and buyer lead campaigns. I will put those in the slide deck as well, and you can take those and use them. Marketing. Faster we become marketers, faster we get results. If you get my campaigns, you're going to see they're written and created with the way to create interest. Why? Because that's my goal, is to get people on the phone with you. And that should be your goal, is whatever campaign communication goes out, we want to be able to have more conversations. And we're going to do that by becoming a better marketer, both in print and in our words and on video. And then lastly is conversion. Conversion is where the rubber hits the road. This is where the skills get built. That's how I was able to even do a webinar today. That's how I've been a coach and trainer, is I built the skill of taking sellers from cold to hot to listening, and I train agents that. And once you have the words to say, it gets much easier, and it happens faster than you think when you're consistent, especially when you have a tool like LionDesk. So with that, y'all, again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of you, and be on the lookout. I'm going to get with LionDesk, and we're going to get you this info. All right, so thank you for joining us. Let's go out there. Let's take imperfect action and go out and make it happen. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hoss Pratt, and thank you, LionDesk, for putting this together. Take care.